Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing well today. This time we are going to be talking about Faster Than Light. The main story for Faster Than Light is very easy to follow. Your ship is trying to deliver some secret information on the weakness of the Rebel flagship to the Federation fleet. You're going to travel from star system to star system. You'll eventually get quests along the way. You'll run into just a bunch of weird stuff. There's a lot of things that are trying to hamper you, but eventually you do reach the Rebel fleet, assuming that you stayed alive long enough, and then you fight the Rebel flagship. There are a few side quests that you can do, but there's nothing really involved here. You can go on a very straight, simple path to where you need to be, or you can kind of explore each little area that you go into. There's a lot of stuff that gets thrown at you to try to hamper your progress, but it's all just an option for you to deal with if you want. In each section, you are chased by the Rebel fleet, so if you take too long in any specific section, you'll run into some harder battles, and you won't get the same rewards that you normally would have gotten. It's an easy story to follow. It works really well for this game. It's fine for what it is. The gameplay looks relatively simple when you first look at it. You have a top-down view of your ship, and then there's a star chart that you're going to be traveling through. The looks can be a little deceiving, though. I made the mistake of underestimating all the stuff that you could do and all the craziness that can actually happen, so I died a lot when I first started playing this. Once you get into the battle, the game makes you think about your next move. You can take down the enemy shields, disable their weapons, or try to take out their engines. In some fights, you'll have to do this because the enemy's trying to escape. If they escape, it can have a negative impact on you, like the enemy fleet will move faster or something like that. Initially, it's pretty easy, and the chances of something catastrophic happening are fairly rare. I say that, but I've had some weird stuff happen in this game, especially when I first started. Like, my crew members didn't fix the oxygen as fast as they should, or I didn't realize that there was no power going to the oxygen, and everybody died. Or a fire got out of control and killed everybody on board. Just weird shit has happened to me in this game. It makes it more fun, so that's always a good thing, but there's a lot of stuff that you need to pay attention to. As the game progresses, the difficulty spikes quite a bit. Ships that you're fighting are a lot stronger, more random things happen, and you have a greater chance of running into something catastrophic taking place, like fighting in an asteroid field or fighting near a sun that is having solar flares. Weird things happen in this. It's pretty cool, though, especially when you're trying to deal with what should be a relatively easy fight, and then just crap starts happening. To give you an example, I had a quest that I had to complete in this. When I reached the location where the quest was, I realized that I couldn't get back to the exit, or I didn't have a way to easily get to the exit. So I had to backtrack through the Rebel fleet that had basically taken over most of the little system I was in. That made things way harder than it really needed to be, and yeah, that's just some of the stuff that the game throws at you. In that case, I got overwhelmed pretty quick and just had to restart. There are a bunch of weapons that you can get in this game, so it makes customizing your ship pretty fun. Since this is a roguelike, you're not going to get the same weapons every time, or you might get them early on and you can't buy them, or they're not going to be useful because you haven't upgraded your ship yet, or just the ship that you're using doesn't really work with the weapons that you're trying to equip with it. It's pretty fun. It's pretty hard to just deal with all of this stuff. You have 4 basic weapons. You have laser, ion weapons, you have missile weapons, and then you have beam weapons. The beam weapons are by far my favorite. Some of these are better when they target the hull, so when they're not targeting a room that has a system in it. Some are easier to use when they take out systems. There's a bunch of stuff going on here, and you can just customize this to fit your strategy. You need to ensure that you have several systems working on your ship. The obvious ones are engines, shields, and weapons. But then you have other stuff on here, like your oxygen generator, you have your sensors, and then you have your doors. Of all the things, the doors is probably the one that I just never paid attention to until that system broke and I had no way of, stopping a fire from just ravaging my entire ship. Yeah, just stuff like that takes place. And then you also have your medical bay. You can get a stealth mode, which I've never really messed around with enough to figure out how to fight with it. You can get a hacking station. You can get a teleporter. You can get drones. The drones are pretty cool, but again, I'm terrible with them because I haven't played with drones enough. There's a few things in here that I need to work on, or at least need to play more with in order to better understand them. There are a bunch of augmentations that you can get as well, stuff that speeds up your faster than light, stuff that reverses an ion field, things that make your weapons more stealthy. You can get a shield booster. You can improve your navigation system. Those are pretty fun to kind of mess around with. They also get pretty expensive, so I should tell you that scraps are the currency for this game, and you get those after each fight normally, and it can be kind of this weird balancing act to get as much as you need in order to actually buy the stuff that you want. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. You also have to deal with your fuel, your missiles, and your drone parts. Those can get away from you pretty quick if you're not paying attention, and you can end up stranded in the middle of nowhere. There's also the crew to look after, so you can get a bunch of different characters in this, and you can get them to specialize as either being a pilot, an engineer, dealing with your shields, repairing, and fighting. There are a bunch of races that you can that you can recruit, sorry. You have your human, Zoltan, Engi, Rock, Slug, and Mantis. Each of these have their own specialties. So a Mantis is a better fighter, but it doesn't repair things very fast. A Slug is kind of a psychic creature. The Rock seems to be immune to fire, or at least very resistant to fire. There's a lot of ways that you can mess around with it. I don't know. That's one of the things that I like, but I don't really care as much about as I probably should. Overall, the gameplay is really great. The game can be pretty addictive as you want to try to do better each time, and there are a bunch of different layouts for your ships and different types of ships that you can get. There's a lot of reasons to go back and play this, and to continue to play it and try to get everything. When I first started playing this game, I thought everything looked really small. I don't have great eyesight as it is, so this probably won't be a problem for most people. But like a lot of strategy games, everything you need is presented right in front of you. At first that can be a little overwhelming, but the more I played the game, the more I got used to the graphics. Once I started playing this on my laptop, everything just seemed to look a lot bigger, so that helped out a ton. There are also a bunch of hotkeys for your weapons, so that helps out just immensely when you're trying to play this game. From a graphics standpoint, it reminds me of a lot of games that I played in the 90s. Your crew appears as kind of like these small bunches of pixels. They actually look pretty cool. The ship looks really great. All the different versions of it look really good. So, yeah, it's kind of fun when you go through and look at everything. When things blow up, they just look really fun, like somebody grabbed a Lego set and just yanked it apart. At least that's what I thought when I first saw it, stuff explode. The fires, the hull breaches, those are pretty easy to see. It's very easy to see when a system is broke or is breaking. Everything is in front of you and it looks really good, and the game tries its best to set you up to succeed. then it throws a bunch of random bullshit at you, but it's trying to at least give you everything that you need in order to beat the game. Trying to figure out the different strategies for each of the ships that you can get in this can be a lot of fun at times, but it's also very frustrating. I think everyone who's played this game probably has their own favorite ship that they like using, and they like using their own specific layouts and weapons and that sort of thing. Learning how to use the different weapons and systems and drones makes this game fun to go back and play over and over again, and also kind of experiment with what you want to do. I don't have any tips for playing this game. Just find something that works for you and keep trying and tweaking it a little bit each time to make it work as best you can. I'm sure there are plenty of people who have strategies for this, but I've always found it's more fun to just come up with your own and see how it works and then try to experiment with something different. This is one of the better indie games that I've played. I don't always like the roguelike genre, or roguelite, whatever you want to call it, but having it combined with sort of a real-time strategy and having it sort of have some role-playing elements in it, that seems to work really well. This is a really enjoyable game, and I really love the gameplay loop in it. Even if it can be a little frustrating, it's still a lot of fun to go back and play. Anyway, that's going to wrap things up. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will talk to you all later. Bye.